Are there other product differences between the sync products and other competitors that are out there that are things that maybe people, when they're looking, they think, well, sort of in-car technology, other features that really, kind of set sync apart?
There are things that people probably aren't really aware of, but they're really cool. One is Bluetooth streaming. It's a profile within the Bluetooth stack. I won't get too technical, but what it allows you to do is stream live music from your devices to your car. So for instance, if you've got some young people that are in there and listen to internet radio like Pandora, you can say that we have the capability, depending on their phone, and in a lot of cases these higher tech phones have Bluetooth streaming capability. You can actually listen to internet radio from your phone into your vehicle. I've got all kinds of people on my team that every day listen to internet radio, and it's really neat. We also have text messaging. Now, when we first introduced text messaging, there weren't a lot of phones that were compatible with it. But, over the next year, we've been working with Verizon and Sprint, and the number of phones that are going to be compatible with Sync that allows you to receive text messaging is going to increase significantly. And then there's other things, too, that people may not be aware of that are just kind of maybe not nuances, but neat things. So for instance, when you have three-way calling, that shows up on and call history, call forwarding, those kinds of things show up on the display of Sync. It automatically downloads your phone book every time you get into the car. The call stays connected automatically when you get in and out of the car, so it's very convenient. That's also important in an emergency situation. One of the feature advantages we have is if you get into an accident and you're in a dangerous area, you can walk out of your car, it'll stay connected, you can go to a safer area. With OnStar or the competitive systems, you've got to stay in your car to stay connected to the 911 operator. I'm trying to think of a couple of other things on Sync. Anything come to mind, Michelle? Those are pretty good.
I'd say those are some that's a pretty good list right there. Question that we've gotten from a couple people right on the text from Racer right now, and you touched on it just then with text messaging. Being able to receive text is one thing, being able to send them is another. And of course, there's all kinds of conversation now about texting while driving, and it's not a great idea. What's in the works for finding safer ways to be able to transmit messages?
So Michelle and I work on this stuff together all the time, and our conclusion is that the first objective is to increase the amount of text phones that are compatible in terms of receiving text messages. Because until you can receive text messages, accurately and on a lot of phones, it doesn't make a lot of sense to provide the response piece, which is probably even more dangerous than receiving it. And you know that Ford came out with a statement that says, we do not support handheld texting in the vehicles. What we're trying to do at Ford, right, is take activities that people do in their car and make them safer. Things like TDI, right, that's safer than downloading a map from Google or MapQuest and trying to drive while you look at the map. That actually happens 2 million times a day still. People are still printing out maps. But back to the text messaging question, our first objective is to get, the reception of text messages up and then be able to have the text-to-speech engine read them. And once we've got that to a reasonable level, we believe we're just on the cusp of the technology where it's affordable and accurate enough to be able to dictate a text message response. But we're on the edge, and we don't want to introduce it because it's going to create a lot of customer dissatisfaction if we're a little bit early on that. So when those two things come together, the number of phones increases and the technology probably gets another 8, 9, 12 months down the road. I think we'll be the first company to be able to roll out something like that.